Mr. Lynch likes only be forever. Good morning, Mr. Simply, Mr. Simply, or 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 simply. Oh, simply that. Not every day. It's January 26th, so really only 6 days. So January 26th, 2026 is also the last Monday of the day. It's a month 2026, it's a Monday. Il neighbors are once again totally cloudy, so what's cloudy, more green and wet, as can't see in January, and also with the light rain, with the wind, the cold and tea, but generally more the rain and the wind. And it's early after, it's early after 13 and 55 units. 36 Fahrenheit 12 Celsius, and this is really cool, yes, because college classificatie ci sono winter periods, forse for SQ, as we consider fact the channel and for just last June 17 fact very over come for SQ was as a last some in general some last episode so non mai free for me non grasp some think body o fact very over come for SQ the was arrivato now for the winter come name partito be precised on December 31 in particular on more to be precise on 16 and 40 p.m. in Italy is on 4 and 3 p.m. SM in Italy. Yes, whereas absolutely non remember if you compare some better machine, suppose it I'm sure twice it remaining so it's intention purpose activation to achieve is spectrum paradox to me there do su interrogation for the spring some new this factor spring so for the some reagizione for the one thing and ci soft so intention generale for si piazza strategy se guardate le grisi, stesso mi questa frequenza for that so the complain but no because in being winter it's cold so in general we complain but when I see the sentence absolutely complete, I'm referring this affair to me, in particular absolutely for this video, for the fact that I don't feel cold, but I feel cold less than other people, thanks to series of blacks I do for the since I'm years to show us that if I cold, I'm not coming winter weather reports or winter periods or winter weather reports periods. I always said write comment which explain this that sa buttare su praxis in this case I will tweet the first part of the comment in answer because someone is interested. So it is the first part of the second with the gymnastics to know what are the breaks, and first appear for a little think in fact think not because feel cold, for a little think cosa strano is mezzo tempo, or I think at 95% feel cold, or in general in some way for me was good. Sì, andiamo a scatto scengiato absolutely I can see something just for it's really bad, but it seems I can be some on this. Magari di after, I think at the response is a bit for 56 Fahrenheit 12 Celsius. حتى temperature atmosfera ci vedi si fa due di sa. Sì, le cortine sono le cortine in genere uscite siamo perfect. A te si suppone che sono tante beatrices. Totally what once again, totally what the sky and with also with the train this one but it's in general more the rain. Let's consider anche per adesso 3 days. Like that, consiglio con i motori insieme si dice things what's it's practically sure that lite ma ti mi dà che blege non so i virei se usi laps I think yes but I'm sure nobody want to use with and so once we see if it's come screen play like yeah band So these video quindi nu atto team in fra song fast mix mit plans nu curti sa mera one ma singur mangasting so super fino breve so curti partito per berti and only for vuso da nu si detta si usa da per costume di bifol che costume bifol pentamente trip non things rete da passa c'è come per costume non costume things si mette si donne ma come section si vuole da first comment or one of them is you read the comment section or no if you can see or not I see where the shot here by me if you yes perhaps you yes see the frase of the mix plants. Or, if not, even better, surely better from this shot pratically the first part of the video, to which Veruca showed you the vedere scatto sia in genere classic medical window, classic medical room, use perhaps non so se era medical window, se medical room. Or, for a better perspective, also nel pratica the shot simulator, classic shot film or that just for repeat once in previous screen visual recording pages, but also for the first story in the story with words la color recording infantry makes that is sure the color recording still come mention sono idea one dash vincitore also seeing this shot so read the effect of is grown shooting so this but tomorrow this effect measure as you read test picture sense for things used la scortina di il museo che urtiamo più pentements persone che for festoni per urtiamo persone che troviamo exactly and also things non si read OLC your editors for the design urtiamo so about repeat special things for items as the latest picture set as is but also lures better visible for me it's until it needs shot is from similar generation. Andase cane cresciute altrimenti trasmessi che l'utilizzo del first stage sotto presi in parte sul micro, in parte sul solino televisimo e nazionale del semplice senso si corre ultimo solito per trovare lo solito so repeat once again a also and always better visible for me it's entity in this shot anticipanti miti con la gene shot. And finally, from medical keyboard NGX 640 PG 635 also is gene shot. Questi molti più lo facevano, questi si che ora non so bene come si sta. Su myself, non so scherzi, and finally, I hope you all get breakfast. To it's late, also, from my aspect, in see late from myself, not many things, less than meter 20 to catch for the first time is late in general, and all for the record, but not at all for my aspect, because for my so kind of normality, like a breakfast at the same time late. Datte boh l'importante si fare von der Recherche sembra stretto stare in fucking back sventene simile sa Twitter diventane parte med thinking milk at diventane parte med två sätt svinka record se cosa man tre så sa jag ripete och tre cosa si record le also for us 50 sembra not more non yes se just for era just roll just un quote 13:55 minutes. The important thing shows the settings and may also be fortunate on a million. And as we always say, sono mosse nessuno. Absolutely. Nessuno mostra mania, perché muore mania. Adesso muore mania, era solo su come si back to reason Friday, flex for reason Friday. Essa crescita pratica di weeks of five Friday ago. It was the 5th of the film also the reports beautiful red black also what's similar to the perhaps the first reason for the report, things that no follow in particular fare questo report, poi questa activity should be in termini di permessi with one, but permessi with one io 40 persone che capita questi direttori di così di singoli di speech, sono scelto così non si gioco sulle tocca mazzonia, facciamo così, هذا البيسكوت تاع مفاك فاكتور عمي في كومز بيسكوت سياس في كتابنا بس ما تبسم ارتبس على بيسكوت تاع شوكو شيب كويس كويس شوكو شيبس infatti consiglio biscuits ma not in particolare Twinks red and riso sono Twinks fact to shot and get coffee to squishy fact to start to shot fact base la shot and if as think tre months as significa lo secondo this time period and time chip better was one as quick to finish now this is on the 99 200 is so significa lo secondo time period so niente check better senza 130 e patria inserti once again milk so per un'inizio sul tecnico di breakfast allora siamo stati in particolare mega poi se che si la spirito c'è questo io sono corso mi fico forse stiamo solo detto video infatti non so che c'è tolla io che breakfast so se mega baba secondo che va sia secondo things of science in farebbe sia la conad anzi alzo mi sa che computer position magari si usa preparare so execute ne pam c'è un execute position cosa? Ma te position come della Italian Palma Dark Shock CPCS. Ma cosa tu come nel motivo? Because they are really super bad. Sì, tomorrow è possibile fare con non ti tomorrow tu quello lì per. Uguale sì.